So let's have a look let's have a look what's going on with China. China's in a contracting state. Its economic activity is falling. There is a shrinking overall GDP. They've got rising youth unemployment, and they've got more and more legislation and bureaucracy going on within the Chinese regime or jurisdiction than there is in the Western societies. And it really is interesting to see how it's been impacted. So this is Mayor Walensky with Driving Markets. You can share, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. I've also got Instagram, I've got TikTok, which is a little bit monitored. I've had some warnings on TikTok because I'm saying things that, according to TikTok's guidelines, are wrong, to say the least, or aggressive. But let's focus a little bit on China. Remember, TikTok is Chinese, so they might also ban this video as well if I was upload it to TikTok. So China overall manufacturing is shrinking. It's got rising unemployment. It also has shrinking GDP. It's got lower exports and lower imports. And there's a few reasons behind that. Since coming out of the pandemic or the lockdown from 2020, China was one of the last countries to come out of the lockdown. So its homegrown industries, which represent about 65 to 75% of the total GDP, have been hammered or trashed by lower revenue and lower business activity. In addition to that, for some reason, the Chinese authorities are introducing more legislation and more regulation, red tape or blue tape, whichever you want to call it, in China, and that is causing a problem, because if you have a country where 60 to 75% of the country is small business, and you are hindering the small businesses from expanding or conducting their business, their overall activity, then that in itself is a clear sign that things are not good and not going in the right direction. So China did save the West back in 2009, 2010 recession by pulling in huge amounts of imports and raw materials and foreign investment. Now, Chinese real estate, property sector, commercial and residential is in the grounds, in the doldrums. It's completely been hammered. And we can't see the real estate sector in China being resuscitated. There is a stimulus package that the Chinese government is proposing, but also proposing a reduction in interest rates, which will not be sufficient to pull China out of its shrinking, recession-directed economy. What they do need is probably about, the proposed 1 trillion yuan, but it's probably going to need a 2 trillion yuan investment in order to get the economy up and running as it's supposed to be. And that is not on the cards. So when you've got China, which is the #2 global economy, sinking, it's going to impact the West also. And that is going to have no savior that it did back in 2010. So as the West is going into recession, it's already in unofficial recession. As it goes into official recession come 2025, maybe the last quarter 2024, then you will see that China can't help the West. So both #1 economy, US, and #2 economy, China, and the West economies in Europe and in the UK, all of them are heading for a recession. But China, being a driver of global economies, doesn't know where it's going. And lowering of interest rates may help, but foreign direct investment, FDI, into China is reducing simply due to the fact that there's no return on the investment, or the regulation legislation is hindering that investment taking place. So what's likely to happen? Well, at some stage, there's going to be a huge stimulus package in China, as there was a huge stimulus package in the West after the pandemic. It did boost the economy for, say, 2.5 years. And then you have rising prices, higher cost of living, overall high inflation, lower profitability, and the economy then goes into a recession. So I can't really see China preventing a recession as such. If it could have a huge stimulus package, which would then furnace up or fire up inflation, that could be a problem going forward. But as far as China is concerned, it seems to be losing its overall economic influence at this moment, unless the direction is going to be changed dramatically. China also does have its footprint in the Middle East and in Europe by trying to export its success overseas. A lot of governments now are getting aware of that. If Trump gets in, there'll be rising tariffs on China goods. If Kamala Harris gets in, then she won't know what to do because she's got no idea about an economy or politics or geopolitics or any other type of where a country is located. So as far as China's concerned, Trump getting in, you'll see a further drop in Chinese goods exports. If Kamala gets in, you'll probably see a rise. But China's also involved, obviously, geopolitically with Iran and a few other contenders like North Korea. That could cause further geopolitical tensions going forward. That's more of a geopolitical issue rather than an economic issue. This is May Valensky with Driving Markets. You can share, subscribe, follow, comment, and also follow me on Instagram. Catch you later.